In the heat of the moment, I made a sarcastic, rude comment.
James Corden used to be known as a lovable late-night host with many viral segments like Carpool Karaoke, but over the years, his reputation has really taken a hit. It turns out that behind closed doors, James is far from the lovable guy we all knew him as. He's slowly become one of the most hated people in Hollywood, and you'll never believe why. James has always seemed like such a nice guy. We always see him laughing and having fun with all of the different celebrity guests on his talk show. But over the last few years, it seems like his reputation in Hollywood has been getting worse. A lot of people have started coming out with all of the terrible interactions they've had with James. Not only that, but a lot of people have also had some negative things to say about his career choices as well. And with the combination of a bad personal reputation and poor career choices, it looks like he might not be in the spotlight for much longer. But what exactly has he done that's so bad? Well, to start off with, he's had several negative experiences with other celebrities, and over the years, these feuds never seem to end with him looking very good, with most people siding against him and saying that he's in the wrong. One of his most notable celebrity feuds was his public fallout with Patrick Stewart. Patrick criticized James for being disrespectful toward the winners at the Glamour Woman of the Year Awards in 2010, but he wasn't the only one who had a problem with James. Mel B from Spice Girls also made a comment about James, saying that he was one of the worst celebrities she's ever met. She especially criticized his treatment of people who work both for him, like production, staff, writers, sound and lighting operators, camera operators, and more. Mel said that you can tell a lot about a celebrity based on how they treat those people, and it doesn't seem like James treats those around him well. Writer, comedian, and podcaster Jack Allen has also spoken out against James. He said that James actually attended a Writers Guild Association meeting to advocate for lowering the pay of his late-night show writers. James has actually denied this, but then he claimed that he only did that because he wanted to give the writers more opportunities, which just didn't make a lot of sense to anyone. And it looks like his bad behavior didn't stop there. Apparently, it's not just the people that he works with that James treats poorly. There have also been numerous accounts of him acting really bad at restaurants. Staff and customers have all come out with crazy stories about James' disrespectful behavior. Owner of the popular Balthazar restaurant in New York City, Keith McNally, claimed that James was one of the worst customers they've ever served, with one incident happening where James claimed that there was a hair in his food and demanded several rounds of free drinks for him and his friends. And there was apparently also another incident where James's wife's egg yolk omelet had a little bit of egg white in it, so he sent it back. And then when the chefs remade it, they accidentally sent it out with fries instead of a salad, which apparently caused James to start screaming at the waiter assigned to their table, saying that they couldn't do their job. Although Keith was initially reluctant to expose James, he later apparently felt like he had an obligation to share how James was acting so that other restaurants could be aware. And he then even banned him from coming back to the restaurant, though it seems like this ban was lifted after James really apologized to Keith. Keith apparently believed that James deserved a second chance, so he took the ban back. But in an interview with the New York Times following the incident, it seemed like James wasn't all that sorry anymore, and he had all but taken back his apology, claiming he did nothing wrong. He then even basically went on to insult the New York Times, saying that the whole situation was silly and it was beneath them to even talk about it, which kind of made it sound like he was just trying to deflect the situation and get the attention off of him. And it also seemed like a pretty bold move to insult a very influential and popular news publication. When all of this came out, people got really annoyed at James, and everyone started complaining about his nice guy persona. Some have even started saying that he's just really fake in general, since there have just been too many times when the mask has slipped and his true personality has shown itself. Plus, people no longer find him that funny. Some have even said that James seems to have this need to always be the funny one, and this has even sometimes gotten him into trouble, since he doesn't always read the room and can make some pretty poor joke choices. In 2017, when he was trying to make an edgy joke, he made a bunch of insensitive jokes about a Harvey Weinstein scandal. Unsurprisingly, James received quite a lot of backlash for it. He did ultimately apologize for his lack of empathy in the situation, but that doesn't change the fact that he shouldn't have made those jokes in the first place. Some critics say that you can tell James has a bad attitude even through his late night show segments. It often feels like he has this weird need to upstage his celebrity guests by interrupting them and singing over them during carpool karaoke. Others have also pointed out that the crosswalk, the musical segment on his show, is pretty inconsiderate to the people stuck in traffic. And on top of all of this terrible behavior, his poor career choices also don't seem to help the situation. James's career initially got off to a great start. He was in the British drama Fat Friends, as well as in the critically acclaimed sitcom Gavin and Stacey. Gavin and Stacey was extremely popular in the UK, and James's character was a fan favorite. It also helped that James actually co-wrote the sitcom. His career was really thriving at this point, but over the years, things have gone pretty downhill for him. It really seems like James just never turns down a job, which has resulted in some real career flop. The recent Cinderella movie musical starring Camila Cabello was seriously disliked by those who watched it, and James didn't just star in the movie, he also produced it. On top of this, James was also in the universally disliked movie Cats, which, to be fair, left a stain on many actors' careers, not just his. But to make matters worse, his role as a gay man in the movie The Prom was based on some pretty offensive stereotypes, which people really didn't like. And it added insult to injury when James was actually nominated for a Golden Globe Award for his performance in that movie. Overall, it seems as though the entertainment industry has decided he's just plain annoying. But since he takes on so many jobs, no one can ever really escape him. He's just everywhere nowadays. Weirdly, it's not like James doesn't know how bad his behavior can get. He even confessed himself that he can get caught up in his own hype. There was apparently even one time when his family tried to get him to go to therapy so he would stop acting like such a brat, which is pretty telling if you think about it. Mainly though, most people are just really confused as to why he's seen so much success, since so many people find his comedy to be bland. It also seems like he relies too much on other celebrity appearances rather than focusing on actually being funny. And if there's ever a movie musical, you know James is going to be involved. This actually led to a pretty crazy situation recently. When Wicked the movie was announced, tons of people actually petitioned against him being cast, hoping to save at least one movie musical from James. And this kind of thing has actually happened before. When James was announced as the host for a special reunion episode of the show Friends, people said they would rather have no reunion episode than have one hosted by James, which I think says a lot about how people really feel about him. But despite what people think about him, it appears like he still has a long career ahead of him. Only time will tell if everyone's finally had enough of him. Until then, I guess we'll just have to wait and see what he does next. But what do you guys think? What do you think about James, and do you think we'll continue to see him all over Hollywood, or have people finally had enough of him? Let me know in the comments below.